What is going on, Giants fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Now, I wanted to do this last night, but I was kind of tired and I didn't feel like doing it. So I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to be doing the New York Giants season recap. Just talk about the season that was, the ups and downs of the season. The drop by Evan Ingram. All the Evan Ingram turnovers. The Daniel Jones struggles. The injuries that happened. Throughout the year. The Barkley. Where we started. Starting off 1-7. And then, winning four straight games, that awesome win in Seattle, finally beating Philadelphia, and then, getting blown out in three straight games, and then, I'm sorry about that, and then win the final game of the season against Dallas, and then we have that whole debacle, with the Eagles and tanking. I'm going to talk about all of it into one video. I'm going to be doing, I guess, a New York Giants season review kind of video and a preview for next year's New York Giants. I'll probably talk about the schedule. I'll have it on my phone here. I'll probably pull it up. And I'll talk about the schedule near the end of the video. But first off, let's talk about the 2020-2021 New York Football Giants. Let's talk about it. So week 1 of the season, we opened up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that is 12-3. They finished 12-4. Realistically, they probably would have gone 13-3 if they didn't bench Big Ben week 17. But, very good football team. They have one of the best defenses in the league. And, we came out, I think we took a 10-3 lead. I think the Steelers muffed the punt. Giants ended up recovering and ended up getting getting out to a 3-0 lead. And then Pittsburgh came back to tie it, I believe, at 3-3. And then Daniel Jones threw his first touchdown of the year to Darius Slayton. And the Giants took a 10-3 lead. But Pittsburgh, after we took the 10-3 lead, they ran away with it. I believe they took a 26-10 lead. I believe it was 26-10, and the game is pretty much over. Giants did get a touchdown at the end of the game, but Pittsburgh's much better than we are. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Barkley had a horrible game in that game. The offensive line got torn to pieces. Week 1 of the season against that nasty Steelers D line, and it just wasn't a very good game for the Giants. A better team beat the worst team. That's kind of what happened in week 1. Week 2 of the season, we played the Bears. This was a tough game. This was the game Barkley got hurt. He had the torn ACL. He was out for the year. Giants didn't do much offensively until late. Ended up losing 17-13. That was not a fun game at all. That was one of the loss in Philadelphia when Evan Ingram dropped the ball was tough. But I think the worst loss of the season realistically was the Bears game because of how Barkley got injured and because we lost the game to drop to 0-2. So that was really tough. But week 3 of the season was a complete embarrassment. We lost 36-9 to the Niners backups. That was pathetic. I honestly thought we were going 0-16 after that game, and drafting Trevor Lawrence. That's honestly what I thought was going to happen to the Giants, and I was almost giving up hope on the Giants. Week 4 they played the Rams, and the defense played fantastic against the Rams. They played really good. Offense didn't do anything. Lost the game 17-9. That was not a fun game either. But the Rams, again, very good defense. Daniel Jones didn't do much in that game. And, the Rams the Giants could not score anything off of the Rams defense. And then week 5 of the year, this is a game we should have won. This should have been our first win of the season, no doubt about it. The refs overturned 2 touchdowns. The Giants should have won this game. And maybe if that didn't happen, it would have been the difference in the division. We would be in the playoffs right now if the refs didn't overturn those 2 touchdowns, which should not have been overturned in the first place. So that was a game we should have won. That was the game that Dak Prescott had the season-ending injury. That was hard to watch. But we did end up losing that game 35-32. We deserve to win that game. I don't care what anybody says. We should have won that game. We should have swept Dallas. We probably should have swept the division, but I'll get into that later in the video. And then, so we're 0-5. It's a horrible time to be a Giants fan. Then week 6, we play Washington, and we get our typical Washington win. We always beat them. We win 20-19. A game we probably did not deserve to win. Ron Rivera obviously not going for 2 to take the lead instead of tying the game at the end there. Was not very smart by Ron Rivera. We got our first win of the season. We probably didn't deserve it, but hey, we got our first win of the year, and that's pretty good to be. The Giants were looking horrible, and a win is always nice. Week 6, the conventional Evan Ingram drop game. That was horrible. That was a bad loss. That was the difference in this. In us not winning the division. That was tough. That was a really tough loss. That was one of the worst games I've ever experienced. One of the toughest losses I've ever experienced as a Giants fan. As a lifelong Giants fan. That was one of the toughest losses I've ever experienced. And, of course, it's got to be to the heated rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. Can't stand that team. Still, I hate them even more now to this day. I can't stand the Eagles. And then we played the Bucks, And this was one of the most impressive games of the season. The Bucks have one of the best offenses in the NFL, and I believe we only gave up 25 points. The defense played fantastic in that game. You know, 2 costly interceptions by Jones was the reason why we lost that game. That's a game, another game we should have won. And you know, that was a really tough loss. We were 1-7. I believe we were picking second in the draft. I was thinking, you know, tank at that point. You know, I didn't really see a point of winning. We had a really tough schedule moving forward. I didn't see the point of winning. But this is where the Giants started to started to show a lot of promise. They beat Washington. They moved up to 2-7. You know, it's a typical Washington victory, whatever. Then they ended up playing the Eagles. This is a game that I think all Giants fans had a feeling we were going to win. I feel like I had that feeling. I'm pretty sure other Giants fans just had that feeling we were finally going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and we did. We won 27-17 at MetLife Stadium, one of the only games we won at MetLife this year. Beat Philadelphia, got to 3-7 on the year, and this was when we were actually pathetic. We were actually close to first place at a 3-7 record. That's pretty sad. We were 3-7. And I believe we were in second place at that time. That's pretty sad. So we beat Philadelphia. Then we played the Bengals. You know, it wasn't easy, but Jones did get, you know, hurt. I believe in the second quarter we had to bring, you know, Colt McCoy in. But the Giants got the victory. They ended up beating the Bengals without Joe Burrow. But, you know, they ended up beating the Bengals, got to 4-7. We were in first place. It was a peak to be a Giants fan at that point. I get we were 4-7, but we were in first place with a 4-7 record. Then, by far, the best win of the season. We go into Seattle with our backup quarterback and beat them 17-12 in Seattle. They were undefeated at home that year. This is by far the best win I've experienced as a Giants fan, probably since 2016. The best win I've ever experienced as a Giants fan. That was awesome, and it was just an unbelievable performance by the defense. That was an awesome game. And then 3 games we flat out sucked. We got blown out by the Cardinals, blown out by the Browns, blown out by the Ravens. All those 3 games were not even worth recapping. They were awful. And then we had that Dallas game. You know, we were up 20 to 9 at halftime, and then, you know, we were up 23. You know, Dallas started to come back. Evan Ingram, you know, had to cause another stupid interception, typical Evan Ingram. You know, Dallas had a chance to win that game, but, you know, Xavier McKinney had that pick in the end zone to seal the game. Well, to seal the game, Wayne Gallman tried to blow it with that fumble at the end of the game, but we beat Dallas 23-19, and, you know, we finished the season 6-10. But then the stupid Eagles, you know, had to put Nate Sudfeld in. That whole debacle happened, and the Giants are going to the playoffs. But, you know, in my opinion, this season was a success. I mean, you take a look of how the defense played, and this defense is only going to get better. The defense was fantastic this year. No, I'm not going to say the offensive line was fantastic, but it got a lot better from last year. This offensive line showed a lot of promise this year. Guys like Nick Gates was awesome. Thomas, really good year. Really good rookie season. You know, got off to a slow start, but then really found his way at the end of the year. You know, not Jalapeno, he's not on the team, but, you know, Zeitler was okay. He was alright. He's not going to be back next year, but Zeitler was alright. Who was the other guy? He was the right tackle. I didn't like him a lot. Cam Fleming, that's his name. He wasn't very good, but he's not a long-term answer for the Giants, so that doesn't matter. You know, Matt Pert, in his little sample size, played well. Shane Lemieux, small sample size, but played very well. This offensive line is moving in the right direction. I love what we saw from the offensive line this year. I loved it. I thought it was very good. And then the offense, big letdown. Really disappointed in the offense, but we can solve the offense's problem in the offseason. We need Daniel Jones to step up in 2021. We need badly Daniel Jones to step up and become the franchise quarterback for the New York Giants. We need Daniel Jones to step up next year. Badly. You know, Slayton, kind of a disappointing year. I actually predicted him to go to the Pro Bowl. He had a very disappointing season. Sterling Shepard. He, you know, got injured at a point in the season, but very good game to end out the year against Dallas. I thought he had a pretty good year, despite the injury. I thought he had a very good season. Evan Ingram, horrible. Evan Ingram sucks. I mean, there's not a lot to say about him. And then, you know, Caden Smith didn't do much. Toilolo didn't do much. But, you know, Barkley barely played. Wayne Gallman, very good year. I didn't expect a lot out of Wayne Gallman. He did a very good job. You know, when Barkley went down, I thought he did a very good job, besides those 2 stupid fumbles in Week 17. But I thought he had a very good year for the Giants. The Wayne train, I thought, was awesome. I thought he was very solid. Dion Lewis, don't want him back. He was bad. Special teams, wasn't good at the end of the year, but was very good at the start of the year. I like the special teams. I really do. Graham Gano was fantastic this year. Riley Dixon was also very solid with, punting for the Giants. He was very good. Kick returning, meh, it wasn't great. I thought Peppers did a pretty good job kick returning, but besides that, I'm not a huge fan of the kick returning, but besides that, I thought special teams was very good for the Giants this year. You know what was my favorite part of the Giants' 2020 season? The coaching staff was phenomenal this year. It was phenomenal. Joe Judge had an awesome season. Not just as a coach, but as a player's coach. He was phenomenal. Graham was phenomenal. Jason Garrett, mixed feelings. I feel like there was a lot of Giants fans that like Jason Garrett. A lot of Giants fans that hate Jason Garrett. Mixed feelings from Jason Garrett. I don't know if there's anybody else I'm missing. The offensive line coach, pretty good job. I mean, this offensive line did pretty good at the end of the year. I thought, DeGuglielmo, whatever his name is, I thought he did a pretty good job for the Giants, this year. I thought the coaching staff was phenomenal for the Giants. I really did. And, even though we went 6-10, this team showed a lot of promise this year. And I predicted them to go 6-10. I didn't expect much from the Giants. I did not expect playoffs. Now, I didn't expect Washington to win the division. I'm going to come out and say that. I did not expect them to win the division, but I am happy with the Giants this year. The 3 games, that 3-game stretch against the Cardinals, Browns, and Ravens, that I was disappointed in that. But besides that, I thought the Giants' season was a success, and I do think this team is heading in the right direction. I really do. So I want to know your thoughts on the Giants' season down in the comments, and I want to know your thoughts on the 2020 New York Giants. I want to know your thoughts. So now let's get into the Giants' future. And plain and simple, I really like it. I like what this team is, the direction this team is headed. This defense is only going to get better. Offensive line's only going to get better. Daniel Jones, he's a big question mark. Let's hope he can improve. We're going to get Barkley back next year. He could be the best running back in the league when healthy. Barkley is an awesome football player. We need him back, and we're going to be getting him back next year. We need him to stay healthy for a full season. That's going to be a big factor for the Giants next year. We're not going to have a tough schedule next year. I mean, I'll pull up the schedule on my phone here. I have it saved here on Twitter. Here it is. So we have the Falcons at home, the Panthers at home. Those 2 games should be a win. The Raiders and Broncos at home. I think we could win those 2 games. The Rams at home, maybe. Maybe we can win that game if we can score some points. I think we could win that game. And then we have the NFC East, which is not a great division in the first place. We could win a lot of home games this year. And on the road we got some tough games. We got the Chiefs. Yeah, we're not winning that one, but we got the Chargers. That's a winnable game. The Bucks. I mean, who knows? Maybe we almost beat them last year. We could beat the Bucks. The Saints, probably not. The Bears. That's a tough game. And then we have the division 3 times. So we have a lot of winnable games, on our schedule for next year. This Giants team, I believe, is going to make the playoffs next year. I really do. I'm going to come out and say it. I think this team is making the playoffs next year. I want to know if you agree with me. Down in the comments below, do you think the New York Giants will make the playoffs next year? Their schedule is very favorable. I think they could go to the playoffs next year. I really do. So that's going to do it for this video. I want to know your thoughts on the Eagles' dilemma down in the comments. I want to know your thoughts on the Giants moving forward, the Giants season in 2020. Did the Giants live up to your expectations? Did they not? I want to know your thoughts down in the comments. So that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to stay tuned for maybe a different kind of video. I might upload it. I'm deciding if I'm going to do it or not. I might upload a different kind of video right after this. So if you guys please if you guys do want to check that out, I really appreciate it. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys next time. Let's go Giants.